let this sit and keep it loose, not tight on their body, okay? That's it. Okay. Left knee, right hip. Now, we've done everything for the lower leg we can think to do. So I'm not going to worry about the lower leg. My pattern's going to be a little bit different than your massage map, okay? Because in the map that we did, we started at the hip flexors first. Just for draping reasons and my flow, this is a case where I've made my own kind of iteration, where I start more at the knee and work my way up. So some knees. Okay, lateral side of the leg. I just roll the leg right over. I confirm there's not a hard end feel at the hip, but I roll that leg over. Now I'm on IT band. For the quadricep group, there's 4 quads. Wow. One is called rectus femoris. That's the one that sits on top. It's the middle. It works at the hip and at the knee. The rest, the other 3, are named vastus, and then for their position, vastus lateralis, vastus intermedius, and vastus medialis. So vastus intermedius is directly underneath rectus femoris. So from a shear or bend standpoint, I may be trying to bend, push, shear rectus femoris off vastus intermedius. I try to find all those words in my head. Now I've let the leg sit more in anatomical position, neutral position. Now I'm right on top of rectus femoris and vastus intermedius. There's a more superficial muscle in this area called sartorius. It is not part of the quadriceps. It's that crazy S-shaped muscle that starts up at the hip and then comes over to the medial knee. So this also applies for the adductors. I just make sure the drape is held against the leg. I can roll the leg out. See how I've done all that hip rotation stuff with this? This hand can further go underneath. My hand's actually gonna be sitting like this, underneath the knee. What that does is it gathers, it pulls the adductors over to me, and I can support the knee like this. Now I'm going downhill, but if you don't have too much lotion, it works just fine. This is a way for me to really get sartorius, and then also the rest of the adductors. Note that my forearm is aimed towards the pelvis. That way it should feel non-invasive and all that good stuff. Good. Now for the hip flexors. See, I feel like it works better to undrape, work, redrape, get the last spot. Here, I am looking for initially the ASIS, so I'll be just below the anterior superior iliac spine, those crazy hooks you see just above the hip joint. And then for a movement piece, I just encourage the hip into internal and external rotation. Rectus femoris and sartorius kind of meet really close to each other at that point. Both are hip flexors, but then when they come down to the knee, the rectus femoris is a knee extensor and sartorius is a knee flexor. So they can get confused, and they need to be told to be less confused. If I come a little bit more lateral, think like where the pocket on pants is, then I'd be on tensor fascia lata, which is about the IT band. And good. Let's see all that again here. Come up. Moving along. needs and big flowy strokes. If this is ever too sensitive for a client, then don't worry about all that forearm work. The nicer version is just to do a big two-hand like this. Come as high up as you can. I'm going to stay more lateral, and then work my way down toward the knee. That's one option. Be more thorough, but it's gonna feel a little bit more aggressive. It's here. So see how much I've rolled the leg in. Pressure, okay. I watch the eyebrows. Make sure there's not a grumpy look to the eyebrows, and I know I'm usually good there. So here's vastus lateralis. I start on IT band and then I work my way across to vastus lateralis. Then I bring the leg to a neutral position, come more straight down. So now I'm working on just those anterior muscles. And that was a roll. And just slowing down. Okay. Externally rotating the hip. Bring my hand underneath. Now, if this whole using the other hand underneath kind of thing is twisting you or uncomfortable, if you're uncomfortable, adapt. My way does not have to be the way. Okay. Good. Come back. And do a little rock. It's a little oscillation. Redrape, come back up to the hip flexors. It reaches a point where you just know. You will get there. Here, 12 rotations. Now this feels, I'm gonna search a little bit. More there or more over here? Okay. Still more to the outside. Yes. All right, let me get these freed up first. Okay. This is me, so that's me confirming. Is it about rectus femoris? Is it about sartorius? The answer is no. I'm pushing on them and it doesn't affect anything, doesn't recreate the symptom. Everything she's feeling is more and more lateral, which would be tensor fascia lata, gluteus minimus, gluteus minimus. So my body mechanics are gonna look a little odd with me really getting a wide stance. You could just use a soft fist here. I do well with the wider stance. It's just, do what I say, not what I do, kind of a thing.
Yep.
Okay. Now I'm gonna have you just slowly rotate the leg to the inside. Come to the outside. What we're looking for is a position that makes it more comfortable. You can rotate further out. So which one feels better to do?
Rotating in seems easier.
Okay, cool. Find a spot there and just hold it. I'm gonna hold for like 5 to 10 seconds. Good, let go, come back, come all the way back. Then switch, go in. That seemed easier. Now I could feel it, but I don't say, oh wow. I ask them, did that feel easier? Does that feel better? Back and forth. And now it's much more free. And that's as long as it takes. It's compression plus active movement, with the goal more specifically being to what I'm pushing on for them to concentrically shorten it. I want them to shorten the muscle that I'm pushing on. Hold it there, and then lengthen it. And then see what happens. Okay, pecs, pectoralis minor and major. Here, you want to avoid the clavicle. You don't want to be right on the line of the ball and socket joint. What you're trying to be is here. See where this hook is? I want to be there, more on the ribs, but just inferior and medial, just below and towards the sternum. Oh, yeah, I don't need that anymore, did we? Yeah, you didn't need your head up so high. I should have checked that the head was comfortable. Now, it'll get easier, but that's where you just being able to visualize where those bony structures are can get you in a position where you're on the muscle correctly. Right here, my hand is touching the table to help guide me into a better angle on both pectoralis major. Now I'm going to start there with lighter pressure, but then I just need to apply more pressure to get down to pectoralis minor. I'm going to do some shoulder rotations. I can pick up the arm at the elbow and do some horizontal adduction, abduction, all kinds of stuff. I could turn the arm over and take the shoulder into external rotation. Lots of options. But what I usually want to be looking for is just the client's comfort. She seems happy with the more therapeutic, kind of stretchy, deep pressure experience, so I would be bit braver, but if I wanted to be more gentle, then I keep the pressure light, and I keep it all about the internal rotations. I keep it like this small. Now I'm looking a little bit deeper for pec minor. This is not the bad side, so I'm not as worried about it. I'm mostly working on it to keep it happy, but to palpate it in order to compare it to the right side. This is an angle. I try not to hit them in the head too much. I'm trying to get on deltoid, which is the muscle that sits right on top of the shoulder joint. It kind of gets forgotten about because it's so superficial. But the angle to get on it is a little bit awkward. You saw how I had to kind of step around the corner of the table. Biceps and the other muscles of the upper arm are easier to work on. Beyond deltoid, when you're on the upper arm, all of the muscles here have the letters B, R, A, C, H. Brachii and I. B, R, A, C, H, I. So there's bicep brachii, coracobrachii, brachialis, brachialis, and radiobrachialis. So the arm, the muscles of the anterior upper arm all have a brachii, B-R-A-C-H-I. If you're in a muscle test situation, you see those letters, you know where you are. Now some only work at the elbow, some work at the elbow and the shoulder, some work just at the shoulder. Forearms, some knees. Now here I tend to find that my palm works better than my forearm. It's the same orientation, where I actually run parallel to the table and use the hand closest. Go down. For the metatarsals of the hand, I'll think first the thumb, fifth the pinky. Move those around. Then I'll come in between and think the second, third, and fourth. I'm trying to remember all the numbers as I come up with all these terms. Then same thing. After shearing those around, then we can do some nice squeezes. Think these fingers. Anybody that plays golf or tennis. Thumb, pinky finger. Don't pull, squeeze. You don't need to use traction. Use the squeeze. Now I'm doing index, ring finger, so second and fourth. And then for the middle finger, the third, phalange, and since the thumb is the special one, the thumb gets an extra squeeze. And that's the hand massage. I use my soft fist on the palm in prone. I use my hands and my fingers for the rest of the hand in supine. Oscillation. Do not underestimate the power of oscillation. Oscillation works better on the legs in prone. It works better on the arms in supine. Okay, coming in. Hand touches table. Keeps me guided. Try not to be as twisted. Sometimes I have to kind of laterally bend in order to get on here effectively. Okay, little rotations. This side's tighter, so I'm going to incorporate some muscle energy technique. Say, okay, just hold your arm up in the air right there. Just hold it, hold it. Now I can let gravity do the work. Okay, good. Now slowly let it back down, nice and easy. Okay, good. Back up. Okay, hold, hold. I could increase the resistance a little bit by pushing. You just keep holding, don't let me in. I increase the contraction just a little bit. Big deep breath. All the way out and down. Down, 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 down. That was a good one. Okay, reposition. Gonna get just a little bit more targeted for pec minor.
Yeah, that's where the pain's coming from.
Okay, is it bad?
No.
We're okay?
No, it's looking good.
Okay. Now, pec minor is different. Pec minor is more of a kind of roll your shoulder forward. So I'm gonna demonstrate that. I'm gonna say now this motion's gonna be more like just kind of rolling forward like this. It elevates, protracts, it does some weird things. Once I'm here, I'm gonna find that spot. Pec minor is the most common muscle related to what's called brachial plexus impingement. So where the nerves of the shoulder get pinched. And roll your shoulder up. There, that was great. Okay, hold, hold, hold. Big inhale. Good long exhale, let it back down. It's a lot of combined methods, but I just using breath for anything that attaches onto the ribs, why not? Okay, roll up into me. Already it was braver. Big breath. And all the way out. Wonderful. Okay, just good deep breath. All the way in, all the way out. Good. And oscillation, oscillation. For anything nervy down the shoulder, down the arm, from the shoulder down the arm, think about pec minor. At the very least, confirm that it's not part of the issue so you can think more precisely. Think more precisely. Here, just showing how I just slowly glide down. Here, okay. Roll the metacarpals. Phalanges. Gotta make that noise too. Good. And just hold right by the thumb. That's how I'll do traction. I'll let gravity do it. Good. Now, one last little bit. Now we've already done some good neck work. We do not need to do all of our neck work here in supine. This is going to be a nice palliative, make things feel good kind of thing. Ideally, you could sit or have a stool, getting down on a knee, both knees, anything works good. Moving hair is an art form, but I'll just Slightly rotate the head, draw the hair up. I just want to make it to where I don't tug on hair as I'm working on the neck. You see I'm already getting this kind of neck rotation back and forth. Can make this feel really good by just kind of having the hands contact areas you know would feel good. And that drawing up, that light glide across the back of the head, it just feels good. All right, now I'm here for the upper traps, soft fist. Don't try to do both at the same time. Just let yourself shuffle on over and work on one side at a time. I can try to be a rolly bed. Okay, work my way around. I'll do a little bit of circles just as I shuffle, but it's very light pressure. Left side. For more pressure, you bring the leg up and the bent knee, the knee forward is the pressure arm. Okay, the right one needed just a little bit extra, so I'll do one more round there. Now I've used my soft fist to work in the cervical area. It's not the best for demo purposes, but what I do is I just set my fist underneath the neck and kind of roll up and use my knuckles to work on the paraspinal muscles. But if your wrist starts hurting by doing this, then stop doing it. So it was a way for me to limit my use of my fingers. I have that as an option. Or there's bringing the hand underneath, curling the fingers. See how I came all the way over? My thumb had to come over. Now my finger's gonna go. But my fingers are stabilized. Being over on the other side of the table rather than being here at the head of the table, that's way harder on your hands. Right here, my wrist and everything is in better orientation, so I can just go up. And I can just hold that and move the head just slightly. Work my way up. Referred pain pattern. We found a trigger point. All right. Position or release time. Go ahead and tilt your head just a little bit. Find a place that makes it better. That was good. Hold it there. Try for 10 seconds.
Do what?
And then come back to neutral. Did that change? Wow. Now here too, you can broaden out. And this is more that kind of like lifting the nape of the neck away. But instead of doing this, I'm just pulling across. Okay, show that again. This is where a rolly stool, that was me, I'm fine. This is where a rolly stool is nicer. See, I could be a bit more graceful on the stool, right? So here's my positioning that way, same thing. Fingers going straight up. But this side is much happier. I don't have to focus here nearly as much.
Yeah, that same area over here though, it's a more of a tickle than a pain.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and do some position again. Yeah, move it. And then relax. Big pulls. Look at my elbow. Elbow is straight. My whole body is doing this. Okay. Now for something a little bit new, just how I've tended to just do a real quick head massage. Frontalis, either side of the brows. just the forehead. I mean, you can apply a fair amount of compression. If somebody has migraines, mild compression to the skull, rhythmic, mild compression to the skull. What you want to be visualizing is that you're trying to help push the excess fluid out of the brain. Migraines are much more difficult to actually deal with, but if you have anything that you can rely on, it's trying to do these kind of rhythmic compressions to pretty much everywhere around the skull, but focusing on the areas where there's muscle makes more sense, right? So in this case, it's frontalis, pressure, and then out and away. From a lymphatic standpoint, this works good to push out and away, then down towards the side, and then even further down towards the neck. And then a big swoopy, contact to the shoulders, come down, legs, knees, ankles, and swoopy, swoopy, swoopy.
My hand does that.
That was a little bit extended, but I think it thankfully covered a lot of this. Stuff that you hadn't seen is what I meant. So ideally, it's still recording. And that way I will take it home, chop it up into pieces per position, so that we'll have another demo video for you to see that is reflective of what like you actually saw in the classroom. So you can be like, what was that weird angle on the foot? You can come back to it. All right, let me stop recording. Wow.